Hello and welcome to this edition of Let's Talk About It. I have an awesome guest today here in the house. Right here from H-Town, Miss Latavia Roberson, formerly of the group Destiny's Child. Latavia.
How are you?
I am fantastic, baby. How you doing?
I am wonderful.
Yeah, and you look wonderful.
Thank you. I feel wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking time out to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I know this has been a long time coming.
It has been
so glad to be here.
Yes, a very long time coming. And I've been talking to Tavia about this interview for quite a while.
Yes.
And so, a lot of times things just work out in God's perfect timing. So I guess
Absolutely.
Today is an example of that. So what are you doing in H-Town?
I came here. I had to host an award show for TSU.
Okay.
They usually have their Spring Fest, in April. So
yes.
I was asked to come and be a co-host, and I was very excited about it. And I also got to come home. I hadn't seen my family since last summer, so it was really great for me to be back.
Yeah. And you know what? I know a lot of the world hadn't seen Latavia Roberson in quite some time.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot of times people are like, what happened to Tavia? What happened to Tavia? So I'm glad that you're here and people are starting to see Tavia again. Now, you came from one of the biggest selling girls group in the history of America, Destiny's Child. How did you even get involved in Destiny's Child, Tavia?
I actually got involved in Destiny's Child through my modeling agency.
Okay.
I've been doing commercials, and I've been doing a lot of modeling and a lot of print work here in Houston and, maybe Dallas, close,
close cities
to Houston. And through my modeling agency, they were looking for girls of all different ethnic backgrounds, and I got the chance to audition. I was about 7 years old.
Right.
About to be 8. That's the day that I met Beyonce, and
okay,
it was history from there.
Wow. So you and Beyonce actually met
at
the audition. At the audition,
yes.
for the
first group that ended up being Girls Time.
Okay, that's right. But then they changed the name because Destiny's
several
Child.
times. Oh my God.
Right. That wasn't the original name. I remember.
Right.
Yeah. So how'd y'all end up landing on Destiny's Child?
After going through about 1,000,002 names, the story, Miss Tina, Beyonce's mom, was flipping through the Bible, and a picture of us fell out, and she saw the word Destiny, in bold-faced print.
Right.
And, as we started living with that for a while, the child evolved out of that from, management and the record company.
Yes. Okay, and then one thing led to another, and then Destiny's Child was given birth.
Hey, man, literally.
Literally.
Man.
So tell me, what was that like being in one of the biggest bands in the history? In history.
It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life.
Uh-huh.
I would never trade it for anything in the world. I learned so much. Being able to be in a group with young ladies that I had to spend so much time with,
right,
outside of my family, because I was always close to my cousins. Nikki and Nina,
yeah.
They were dancers in the group at first. We were all
right.
3 dancers together at first. Initially, I wasn't a singer.
Because you actually came in as a rap
I was
artist?
a dancer, and I was rapping, and my mother just put me in voice lessons, and I kind of started to
evolve,
get into that. And Matthew heard me sing, and then asked me to be at rehearsal one day. So that happened, but. Back to what you were saying, it was just, it's something that I can't describe.
Okay.
Coming from where I came from a girl that was just in school, and I loved being in school and everything, and as big as the group ended up becoming, I loved to be in front of a camera and do things like that, but I never in a million years thought that group was going to do that. Of course, we prayed for it, and that's
Absolutely.
what we wanted, but in hindsight, but when it actually happened,
right,
it was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is really, really, really happening.
Like the dream come true.
Yes, literally.
Mm-hmm. And you were in Destiny's Child for how many years, Tavia?
7.
Up until about 17, huh?
Actually, I 18 until I was 18. So about 11 years.
About 11 years. Wow.
Until 1999. And I have no idea.
Right.
Don't get me to start doing math.
Oh, don't even try to do the math. I'm gonna help you out.
Oh, what you trying to say?
We're gonna avoid the math today. But I know you were in the group for a long time, and so you got to do a lot of things. You also traveled a lot. What was that like for you, being a young child and being on the road all the time, being away from school and all this?
It was interesting, but we were doing what we loved, and we got to be together. We were sisters, and we were really, really, really friends. So. us doing that was, in a sense, outside of being able to socially be around like our peers.
Right.
Who wouldn't want to be doing what we were doing?
Exactly.
A lot of people don't realize, though, like how hard it is.
Yes.
Especially being a child, because it is a lot of hard work. And being away from your family and your friends, you get homesick a lot, and not being able to do the things that normal kids do.
Right.
It's really really challenging.
Now, would you trade that for anything?
Oh, because of where I am now and me looking back,
right.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Never.
Okay. Absolutely not, huh? No. So now we're gonna fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
Something happened with Destiny's Child, and you guys were no longer a part of it. We looked up, and there was no Latavia, and there was no Latoya.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you?
It was hard. I have to say that it was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to endure. And I think the hardest thing was like not being around the people that became your family. Because we were always away from home. And because it was business
right.
that made it happen. You know, it had nothing to do with us four personally. Right. But just the experience of looking up and one day thinking that, you know, there might be some resolution and there wasn't.
Right.
That was the most heartbreaking part.
Yeah.
And things, I believe that they do happen for a reason.
Yes.
And that's, you know,
and
that was my destiny.
That was your
Clearly.
destiny, and that's a good way to put it. And a lot of times things do happen for a reason. We don't always
Definitely.
understand it when we're going through the experience.
Oh, no.
But yeah, and a lot of times until we come out on the other side, that we're able to really understand.
Right.
When we're able to reflect and say, okay, God, I see what you were working out in the midst of what I was dealing with or going through at that time, because we can easily think this is the end of life for me. And being a young girl, I know you had those moments where you thought life was over because you were no longer a part of that group.
Yes. And definitely being young, it was definitely harder to understand.
Yes.
And getting older and really starting to become a woman and understanding who I am.
Yes.
I started to understand why God did it to me.
Yes.
Now, I can't speak like, because Beyonce had an experience with us not being there, so did Kelly. Latoya had a different experience because we were kind of more so on the same side, but I understand why it happened to me.
Okay.
And as crazy as it might seem to some people,
right,
I definitely know that it happened for a reason. And,
okay.
And it's definitely led me to be the woman that I am.
Wow. And you know what? When we have different life experiences, that's what actually molds us.
Oh, of course.
So that we can become ultimately who God wants us to be.
Right, because it's not about us.
It's never about us.
It's not about us.
It's never about us. But you're going to be a great example for so many other people who have experiences like you that feel like, okay, if Latavia Roberson made it through that loss of Destiny's Child, then I too can make it through my experience and what I'm going through. I'm so much enjoying this interview with you.
Oh, so am I.
Thoroughly. And we're going to come back in just a moment with more of Latavia Roberson, so stick around. You don't want to miss the rest of this interview. Hello and welcome back to this edition of Let's Talk About It with my wonderful guest, Miss Latavia Roberson, who's in the house today. Latavia is letting us in on everything that's happening in her world. Latavia, thanks for being so transparent, man.
Hey, you know what? I figure right now that, I've lived this life for a reason, and I've been pruned by the Lord for a reason. So there's no reason for me to feel ashamed about anything that's happened to me in my past. So let's do it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
You know what? A lot of people, they thought that you guys left Destiny's Child. Now, that wasn't really the truth, though. And I've always wanted to clear this up with everybody because, of course, people have always asked me, what happened with them? And I'm like, no, they never left Destiny's Child.
Right. At the end of the day, like I said, it was business, and it was strictly between Latoya and myself and management. And we just thought that certain things were going to happen. And the reason why I maintained that we didn't leave is because, you know, we were told that we were going to be able to sit down and talk about it. And then the next thing we know, Say My Name video was
released.
So, I mean, if that's leaving, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Certainly.
But my truth and my
that wasn't your
everything that
reality.
I've been saying, my reality has been the same for over 10 years now.
Right,
so.
right. And I know that because so many people thought that y'all left, I mean, it was actually a shock to Latoya and Latavia when they were watching, I think it was what, MTV Jams or
BET.
one of the BET, and they actually saw a video on that was, they said, next up is Destiny's Child. And they're like, how can that be? Because we right here on the couch checking this out on, what you mean? We ain't there. And then next thing you know, as you continue to watch this segment on TV, what did you see?
We were thinking that, okay, well, we understood that it was about to be released and that the video had to go on because it was definitely in production. And we did not expect, though, to see two new people. We thought that maybe they were just going to do it, you know, just without us. So we were going to still be able to resolve it. But we knew that there were two other girls. We were able to tell them right off the rip. And at that point in time, I mean, we were just like, okay, like, you know, what can we do at this point?
And that's when you officially knew that you were actually kind of like kicked out of the group.
Yes, in so many words.
So the conversations that you were supposed to have prior never happened?
No, they didn't.
And then next thing you know, there's two more girls replacing Latoya and Latavia.
Right.
All right. So what was that like for you once you realized we're no longer in this band? And you were there since the inception of it.
It was, I mean, I don't want to say that it wasn't traumatizing, but it was just like, it was just disbelief. It was shock. It was, did that really, we were looking at each other like.
Did that just happen?
Did that? Did we?
Yeah, they kicked us out. We no longer in Destiny's
Child. So we were just like, well, okay, we got to figure out like
what we gonna do with the rest of our lives.
Like, yeah.
What's our destiny?
But, you know, of course, you know, like we're laughing about it now. It wasn't a laughing matter then, and I'm not saying that it had us all down in the dumps, like we weren't able to walk around and function. But you know, we knew that there were going to be very, very high mountains, to climb after that. But at that point in time, it was about starting to try to figure out how we were going to do that.
Yes, yes. And obviously you guys figured out a way.
Definitely.
Because you're here today.
Hey, holla.
Holla. You're still standing. You're still standing. So life after Destiny's Child. Now, you vanished from the public eye for a very long time. And so many people were wondering, where is Latavia? And people would always ask me, where's the little cute one with the red hair? The little feisty one.
Thank you.
Yeah, they would always say, where the little cute one? And I'm like, well, you know, she's on hiatus or whatever, you know. So tell us a little bit about that stint, where you've been for the last decade or so, Tavia.
Life after Destiny's Child for me has been very, very different than it's been for the other three girls, clearly.
Yes.
I haven't been visible. And I took some time off. I had to clear my head. I had to get Latavia back into a space to where I could function.
Right.
And at the time, being a child, Destiny's Child, you know, it was my life. And when you have so much idle time to yourself, you can kind of start to live in your head a little bit, and certain things start to replay, like things from my childhood.
Okay.
With my parents and things that had happened to me.
Okay.
And really just kind of being by myself just led me into a dark place that I found myself not really recognizing who I was for a certain amount of time. And I had to find a way to come out of that. And I didn't want to give anybody me. I didn't want to give you guys me without it being me.
Right.
So as hard as it was, I'm finally here. And like, of course, I wanted it to be quicker than this, but that's not the way that the Lord does things.
Right, right.
At all.
And we know that God's timing is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always on time.
And so often we want to rush things,
Oh.
and, you know,
Yes.
especially when we're going through something, we want to get through it and keep on moving. But
course,
a lot
of
of
course.
times when we're going through it, we're being sharpened and refined,
Yes.
so that we can be better when we come out on the other side.
Definitely.
And obviously you are better.
I'm definitely better. I'm a better woman. I'm a better person. And I can say that I am a great person, and I can mean it. And I don't feel like I'm being
Boastful or
yes, like not by any means,
Right.
because clearly it was my path, and it wasn't my time to be out in the public eye.
yes.
I would have definitely self-destructed
Mm-hmm.
in public
Yes.
had it happened.
And I know
During that time.
there were some while you've been over the 10 years, there were some different challenges that you faced.
Definitely.
And I know that you'd also mentioned like you were drinking.
Yes, I was.
And drinking took over your life for a minute. Would that be safe to say?
Yes, it's safe to say that. I was trying to find a way to self-medicate because I didn't know how to cope.
Yeah.
And being by myself so much, like, there's nothing wrong with people having to drink if they want to have a drink, but
Right.
I was trying to drink to numb pain,
Right.
and I had to get to the root of what that pain was.
And that pain was obviously some of the things that you experienced in your childhood,
Definitely.
in your early years,
Definitely.
that you actually began to relive, Tavia.
I started to relive them because they started to really resurface. There was no more group. There was none of that I had to worry about. And then I'm just like, okay, it's fun to go to a party, but like, why am I doing it excessively? I was feeling lonely and
Mm-hmm.
abandoned and things like that. So I turned to that.
To alcohol.
I did.
Uh-huh. Now I know you went to Atlanta for a while.
Hmm.
You left Houston and you went to Atlanta. What was Atlanta like for you? Was that a better place for you at that time, Tavia?
I loved Atlanta. Atlanta, I always wanted to live there, even when we were in the group.
Really?
And so after everything, died down with Destiny's Child, I definitely moved there. And
Okay.
I created a life there, and I found new friends, and I just started trying to live. I felt like it was a better place for me to be able to work.
Okay.
But then, my life started getting in the way, and I started,
Okay.
in the words of Tyrese or his book, I started getting in my own way.
Getting in your own way.
Absolutely. So that kind of happened.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know what I think is important? It's not always what we go through,
Absolutely.
but it's how we go through it and what we gain from it that gives it the value that it has. Because when you're able to go through it and then make a difference from it, that not only affects your life, but the lives of other people, then what you have gone through is not in vain.
Absolutely.
And it helps you to realize your greater purpose for your experience in your life.
So true.
We have so much more to talk about. We're going to come back in just a moment with more from my wonderful guest, Miss Latavia.
Ooh.
Did he just mess up her name? Roberson. No, he know better. Okay? All right, in just a moment. And also, we got a few surprises for you. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a second with more. All right, we're back with more of Latavia Roberson. We're having such a great in-depth interview, man, and I'm so glad that we're able to catch the audience up on where Latavia's been and what's happening with Latavia. Now, Latavia, I was watching one day Housewives of Atlanta, and I hadn't seen you in a minute. At the point that I saw you on Housewives of Atlanta, and I'm like, oh, there's my girl, there's Tavia, okay, and I'm all excited and pumped up. I watched the show, and I saw Phaedra, like, oh, Tavia, we're going to talk every day. We're going to make some things happen. I got the Midas touch. You got the Midas. And I kept looking and waiting for something to happen after that because I felt like it would. And then I never saw anything. What? I don't.
That we discussed some business, and we had planned on doing a business venture together.
Okay.
And as things would have it, life took its different turns in both of our lives, and Phaedra, as you can see, she has become, successful with
Right.
the show, and she started doing other things, and I started going around Atlanta a little more and getting into work and trying to go network myself a little more.
Right.
And then I got the shocking news that my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes, and wow. So, Tavia, what was that like for you when you realized your mom had breast cancer?
I really didn't know how to feel because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
And nobody likes to prepare themselves for the worst, but I did. And in case the worst happened, I felt like it was best for me to be here at home.
Right.
So I came here to be by my mother's side throughout throughout her surgery and her radiation and all of that, to just be here with her so she can have my support. It was, to me, she was telling me, "Oh, baby, go ahead and do it." I can't be out trying to work knowing until I know that you're okay.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's not a part of my makeup.
Right. So when you got that news, were you feeling like you were faced with her immortality or mortality, or the fear? To
a certain extent, but I became the biggest prayer warrior ever. I was always prayerful, but it just became something totally different.
Right.
To the point my mother was just like, "Oh my gosh, you're just so positive." I said, "Girl," I sit down over there, receive these blessings.
Yeah, that's right.
But I was glad. Now we had some days that were hell. Now.
Yes.
It was very hard, and the women at the cancer center, they warned me that we would have those days.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, no matter how hard certain days were, I'm just so glad that I was able to be here for my mother during that time.
Yes. And I'm certain that she was glad that you were able to be here for her
definitely
as well. You have a very strong connection, a very strong bond with your mother.
Yes, I do.
And I'm sure that's always been a part of your life, right? You just always had that strong connection with Cheryl.
I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. We've had our issues now.
Right.
I definitely write about it in my book because it's just something that we've had to go through to get to this point.
Right.
And I'm glad that something as tragic as my mother being diagnosed with breast cancer wasn't the start of us starting to get our relationship back to where it needed to be.
Okay.
You know, we touched on earlier, things from my childhood.
Right.
And so we had to work through a lot.
Right.
And my mother was on the road with us as well, so I wasn't only going through the breakup and everything. My mother went through it as well, so she had her own set of feelings. I had my own set of feelings. We had feelings about each other, and I'm growing up to start to be a young woman, young lady, and
coming into your own.
Oh my goodness, it was whoo. But we're here, and we have arrived as the people that we need to be.
I think that's wonderful. And I know you experienced a lot of losses, material losses, when you were transitioning.
I did.
And everything, and you recovered from that quite well.
I did. Again, something that I touch on. I don't want to go too much in detail about it, but I definitely talk about it in depth because it was important to me to be transparent to you guys because I want you guys to know where I've been. I'm not ashamed of where I've been, and I'm going to definitely tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, the uncomfortable, all that. I've heard a lot of rumors about myself, and I'm like, you know what, let me just say what it is that's happened. I'd rather you hear it from the horse's mouth, and then go talk.
Exactly. And then go talk. And you know what, and I'm talking from my own experience as it relates to Latavia. A lot of times when people don't know things, they'll come up with their own stories.
Definitely.
And they'll create stories about people, and they'll go out there into the universe, and they'll say those things to people, and they're not even true. And a lot of times we can't sit back and judge and talk about people, and we don't even know what their real circumstance is. And that's certainly one of the things that happened with you, because people didn't know what was really going on with you. You disappeared for a while. Different people said different things, but they don't know the things that you've been through.
They don't.
They don't know the tears you've cried.
Oh.
They don't know the prayers you prayed. How you down on your knees saying, "God, help me get through this moment.
Yes.
Help me get past this period of time where I'm
Absolutely.
I'm self-medicating myself." you know what I mean, or this relationship or the things that's happened in my childhood. They don't know those things. And that's why I really wanted you on here. I want to clear up some stuff just to let some people know. Stop lying and just making up stuff on folk, because it ain't cool. Especially when you don't know that person and you don't know their circumstance and what they've been through.
And again, that's why, you know, I'm very thankful and grateful for being able to be here and do this, and especially in my hometown, because you said before, like, people do put things out into the atmosphere, and before you know it, you don't even understand why. It'll come knocking on your door, and you like, I wasn't even thinking this. Where did this come from?
Right.
And people don't understand that, you know, black magic comes off your tongue, and even if you're not speaking, you can speak it into somebody else's life.
Yeah. Even
just trying to say something that you heard. Now, we all talk. I'm not trying to sit up here and say that we don't, but it just really touched me when you said that people speak things and they put it into the atmosphere, and it can come back to somebody else. You never know what you're putting in somebody's life.
The damage. And just like the Bible talks about that, when he said life and death are in the power of the tongue. You never know about the things that you say, how they can come back and hurt somebody, or it can come back and hurt you. So you need to be careful of judgment.
Definitely.
And this type of thing. I'm not going to talk about this too much more. I mean, because I get mad myself
when I talk about it.
You know, and when I've heard things, you know, of course, because of my relationship personally with you, when I hear things, I get mad about it.
It's okay.
Because, you know, you're my girl, man. You know that. And so, hey, if y'all don't know everything, don't be. It don't work like that. Now, you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, baby.
I do.
We got a book in the making.
Yes. I am finished with my book now, and I am trying to find the right publishing home for my book.
Okay.
So my book has always been my baby, and right now, I really feel like it's a great time for my book to come out. And let people know where I've been, and let people know what's soon to come.
Oh, wow. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this book, because I want to find out a little bit more of the contents and all that stuff, because I'm going to definitely be one of the first people in line to make that purchase. So, hey, don't go away, y'all. We're going to be back in just a moment with more of Latavia Roberson, so stick around. In fact, we got a couple of surprises for you. Get ready. Welcome back to Let's Talk About It with my awesome and amazing guest, Miss Latavia Roberson is in the house representing H-Town. What you know about that?
Where am I from?
What you know about the H? We were just talking about the H a minute ago, trying to determine what it really meant when you did that.
Well, when I do it, it means H. That's the only thing I know that it's meant. I don't know what else.
Okay. We represent H-Town.
Something I think like okay.
I don't know. We have so much amazing talent in Houston. It's such a blessing to get to showcase some wonderful people like Latavia Roberson, formerly of the group Destiny's Child. Latavia, you got a book in the making that we were talking about just before we left off in the last segment.
Yes.
What motivated you to write the book?
Actually, I've always wanted to write a book. Even from back in my days in Destiny's Child, I always said that I wanted to write a book about my experience in the group. But once everything happened the way that it did, I still wanted to write a book because it just became a part of me.
Okay.
I've always been a person. I've never been afraid to share myself with people. I'm private in certain aspects, but there's some things people want to know, and I don't think that it's anything wrong with letting people know where you've been and things that you've been doing. So I wanted to do that, and then once things happened after the group, I wanted to let people know what had happened. When people started hearing, well, what happened to you, and start hearing those stories,
right,
I'm like, okay, well, I'm still going to write my book.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to definitely let everybody know what's been going on.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful, man. I'm excited about it coming out. I'm excited about people getting a better understanding of who Latavia Roberson really is.
Definitely.
To dispel some of the craziness that that we've certainly heard.
You don't have to, but I feel that, it's something that I don't mind doing because, like I said, I don't mind people knowing.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to let them know where I've been.
Let them know what's going on.
What I've been doing.
You know what I noticed about you, Tavia? Even though you've been away from the spotlight for a long period of time, you kept yourself in like perfect shape. How did you stay like fit like you were? I mean, because you stayed in shape.
Well, I like working out, and I don't have bad eating habits or anything like that. So it was never really that hard. I decided to make a lifestyle change, and I did. With some of the things, I've heard a lot of people say that with a lot of things that I've been through, and me knowing the things that I've been through in the past 10 years, a lot of people have said to me like, God has really restored you.
Yes. Okay.
Because and my book is also about that, abuse that I've endured and things like that, and things that I've done even to myself.
Right.
Self-abuse, and I just really don't. I can't say that I don't understand now. I know it's because I do have a different purpose, and I'm just very grateful for what has happened, how my body has been reserved.
Yeah, yes. That's a tremendous blessing. I know that a lot of what you actually had gone through brought you closer to God.
Oh, definitely.
And your relationship with God, your spiritual connection. That's one of the things that I know about you personally. So that's definitely increased your...
Yes, it's increased it. I was always close with God, but sometimes, we run away from him like he's not always there.
Really?
I love the intimacy that I have with God now.
Yes.
More than anything.
Yes, I think that's fantastic. And God gave us a life so that we can have abundance, so that we can prosper, so we grow. And speaking of God giving us life, Latavia.
Yes.
Is there something you want to tell us about, baby? What's been going on with Latavia? We know we done caught up all the way up to all these years, but it's something real big that's about to happen. And go on and give them a little clue. Speaking of life.
I am almost 5 months pregnant.
And there you have it, folks. Breaking news. Latavia Roberson is letting us know that she is nearly 5 months pregnant. Yes. So she is actually giving life to another individual.
Yes, I am.
Baby, what does that feel like for you?
It's wonderful. I've always wanted to be a mother. I've always wanted a family. And to find out was a shocker.
Okay.
I'm in Atlanta, I'm doing my thing, and things are about to start happening, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
This timing is off, huh?
Well, actually, clearly the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Because at the end of the day, God has a plan, and it doesn't have anything to do with me.
Right.
And it's been one of the most, oh gosh, Pharaoh.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's been one of the most beautiful experiences of my life.
Yeah.
And just to feel another life growing inside of you.
Yeah.
And there are no words that can describe the joy that I feel knowing that I'm about to be a mother.
Wow. And that's huge. That is huge. Because
I'm still in disbelief, actually. I am.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful thing, man.
It is, and that has been one of the biggest additions. Bringing more awareness to breast cancer awareness, especially because of my mother, and I'm doing a lot of advocacy work in Atlanta. I have some things going on with Susan G. Coleman.
Oh, that's great. That's a huge foundation for breast cancer.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. My reality show that will be documenting my pregnancy, which I am a producer on the show as well. So
fantastic.
I get to add something else to my belt. I'm very excited about that. The ups and downs of my relationship with my child's father.
Okay.
We are, we're a work in progress, and we definitely have a lot of love for each other. But the struggle is beautiful in itself.
Yeah.
As well, and I'm just definitely looking forward to being on this journey, and I'm about to start doing a lot of speaking engagements and
Wow,
starting
that's great.
to reach out to young girls and young women to definitely share my story and just to go give back and to let people into my world. And if there's any kind of words of encouragement that I can offer
Yes.
to anyone, I'm open for
And you know what? That's what makes you such an awesome person to me.
Thank you.
You're so transparent, you know. You're letting people in. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Not everybody can do that. And you know what? It takes strength to do that.
Thank you.
This is by far not a weak person. This is a very strong, resilient person. Someone who can be so transparent and just keep it real. Because that's what's going to bless the people that get to see this show and to see this program. So you're making such a huge impact on everybody that's going to get to see this show today. And not only that, but the world through your book.
Yes.
Through your reality show.
Yes.
You're doing a lot of things, man.
I am.
You're doing a lot of things.
I am, and I'm so it's my time. I've been investing into my acting career as well, something that I've wanted to do for many, many, many years. And so there are just so many things that have started to happen in 2013. And I think that the Lord made it happen at the perfect time in my life. I'm strong enough to deal with anything. I'm ready for everything.
Come on now. Come on. And you are ready for everything.
Let's go. Let's get them.
Let's get them, all right? And God's timing is perfect. You know, sometimes we look at things and say, oh, I wish this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But you don't know what God has in plan for you, the bigger picture. And I always say these things that happen are little bitty pieces to the puzzle for something far greater in our lives. And by far, I know that this is a piece to the puzzle for something so much greater in your life. We got more to talk about in just a moment with Latavia Roberson. You don't want to go away. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to this last segment of Let's Talk About It with my awesome guest representing H-Town, Miss Latavia Roberson. Man, this has been such a great and informative interview with you.
Thank you very much. I've definitely enjoyed myself.
Fantastic. I can interview you all day long, though. You know that?
What?
Yeah, man. We always got something to talk about.
This is true. This is very true.
And that's the name of the show. Let's do what?
Talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Now, let's talk about this for a minute. You got a reality show we touched on a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what this reality show is all about.
The reality show is chronicling my life and me being on an uprise back into getting my career restored.
Okay.
And it's something that I'm glad that I can do because I would love for people to see the struggle.
Yes.
That it hasn't been easy. I've tried, just to try to get myself in the doors and things like that. I don't mind people being along with me, and the simple fact that I'm pregnant now has really made people start knocking to want to
holler at you a little bit more now.
My pregnancy as well. So we're definitely chronicling that, and I'm excited. I don't mind people seeing me. Like I said, I've embraced pregnancy very, very, very well. I feel very comfortable being pregnant for whatever reasons. I don't know, we're about to have a baby factory going on, but but I've always wanted like 3-4 kids. So
is that right? So this is just a start.
This is just a start, but I can't get too old now.
I understand.
But hey.
It is
the good
what
Lord say so. It's up to him.
Then so be it, huh?
Definitely. Because if it was up to me, I would have had kids when I was like 23. But he was like, girl, sit down somewhere. No.
You ain't quite ready for this yet.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Because this has really been a life-changing experience for you.
It has been. It has been.
All right. We got so much to talk about, man. I'm enjoying. I don't know who this person is. Knock at the door. All right.
What? Are you serious?
Oh, wow. Look at this. H-Town's on. This is Golden Boy, one of Houston's hottest rappers.
Here?
Man, what you doing here?
I just came to show some love and bring some Sky Trues for the lovely lady right here.
Oh, wow. Wow. H-Town is definitely being represented today. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, man. It's a good look.
All right.
I just shot.
Golden Boy is in the house at Latavia Roberson's interview
Boy.
in H-Town. What a pleasant surprise, man.
Oh, man, it's a blessing.
All right, real quick, what's going on with you, man?
Oh, I just stopping by. Got some things going on. The International Festival coming up. New mixtape coming out.
All right.
It's a good look, man.
All right, all right. That is fantastic. Well, you just never know what's going to happen on the set of Let's Talk About It.
You never know.
Clearly. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
How many years has it been since I've seen you?
So long. Wow,
Y'all go back a little bit.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Back like 2 flats.
Like,
Real talk.
did you say back like 2 flats?
Yes.
Tired.
What you got? What's going on with you?
I got the new trues, man.
Okay.
That's what I got. The real
That's
colorful
what's
one,
up.
with the gold and the turquoise and all that there. And I'm gonna give them to you. I want you to have.
Oh, wow.
And I say there's some nice colors.
Yeah.
Wow.
Them yours.
That's what's up. Thank you, dear.
Number love.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my
You
gosh.
just never
oh
know
my
what's
gosh,
going to
oh
happen
my
on the
gosh,
set
oh
of
my
Let's
gosh.
Talk About It.
Check me out in my truths.
Wow.
What it do?
What it do, baby? What it do? What it do? What it do?
Thank you, George. That is
wow.
what's up. You got yours on, too?
What year is
Well, I
that?
put mine away.
You got
mine
some?
back on.
Sky True.
Get a camera shot with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pose for the frame.
You just never know what's going to happen.
Thank you, George.
Needless to say, folks, I have had a very fun and exciting interview with Miss Latavia Roberson, and lots of surprises today. And we even got Houston's own Golden Boy that just knocked on the door and busted in on our interview. But man, be glad you came through, boy.
It's not a problem. I love y'all.
All right, we love you
Love
too.
you too.
All right, thanks so
Same
much.
here.
All right. Again, you just never know what's going to happen on the set. I hope you guys have enjoyed Miss Latavia Roberson as much as I have. And until next time, we'll see you then on Let's Talk About It. All right, we'll see you on Let's Talk About It.
That's a good one.